the shop, and I just became the owner of a new Kia. Could you tell me who these belong to so I can know which car to pick up?
Oh.
They were in the bathroom. So look and see who these belong to.
That's a blue.
It has a blue key thing on it.
Probably James. No.
Anybody?
Oh, look at Sharon.
Who's out in the restroom? So I guess I don't have a new Kia this morning. Oh, well. Okay, at this time I'd like to introduce Pammy. She's the Unit 58 resident, and she's going to start reading.
Good morning, everyone.
Nice.
I'm going to have to lower the microphone a little bit. I want to thank everyone for coming this morning. I think we have a great turnout, and I know we're going to learn a lot of great information. I think even those of us that are seasoned can still take away something. And for all the new people, you're going to learn a lot of information today, and it's information that will be helpful for all of your units. So, a few housekeeping items. The restrooms are right behind me, and exit doors on all sides. And welcome. Thank you.
At this time, I would like to get our district chaplain to say a prayer.
Dear Lord, thank you for bringing us here safely today. Please open our minds and hearts to the information that our instructors are going to be offering us. Please let us remember that we work together as a team, and our mission is more important than our ego. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, would you follow me the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If Pammy would come forward and lead us in the preamble to the American Legion Auxiliary.
For God and country, we associate ourselves together for the following purposes: to uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States of America, to maintain law and order, to foster and perpetuate 100% Americanism, to preserve the memories and incidents of our associations during all wars, to inculcate a sense of individual obligation to the community, state, and nation, to combat the autocracy of both the classes and the masses, to make right the master of might, to promote peace and goodwill on earth, to safeguard and transmit to posterity the principles of justice, freedom, and democracy, to participate in and contribute to the accomplishments and aims and purposes of the American Legion, to consecrate and sanctify our association by our devotion to mutual helpfulness.
At this time, I would like to introduce our instructors today, Jane Hardacre and Lisa Hoyland. And at this time, I'm going to pass the microphone over to Lisa.
May be seated. Good morning. It's a great turnout. It's good to see everyone this morning. A.B.C school. Who can tell me what A.B.C stands for? Okay. Yes.
Auxiliary basic concepts.
Auxiliary basic concepps. So in your school of instructions that we have right after our department workshop, we have those within our district, these school of instructions, and that's more program related. Today is more concepts of the American Legion Auxiliary. The practice that we just kind of did this morning, no, it's not a meeting, but this is is how we start. So some of the items for the opening ceremony of a meeting that you would have. And that's why we did that exercise here with you this morning. So how many members the first time here for an A.B.C. school?
Keep your hands up if you don't mind.
Please keep your hands up.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14. I'll write it on your sheet.
Wow, 14. That is awesome. I'm going to clap just because that is amazing. Thank you. Thank you for taking the time to be here on this Saturday morning. Between 1 and let's say 5 years, have you been a member of the auxiliary? 1 and 5. 2 or 3. 9. I have about 10. Wow. And let's just say over 5 years. Wow. Okay, so a good mixture, a great class today that kind of gives us a head start and kind of see what direction we're going in for today and what we're going to be discussing. But I know everybody needs a refresher, so we're going to be talking about a lot of different things. If you have any questions, please stop us and we can answer your questions, maybe in a topic, but we'll get your questions right after that topic is complete. So, American Legion family. We've all heard about the American Legion family. And it does take us as a family to make us strong. But our parent is the American Legion. And I want to take some time today to thank our Legionnaires over here that are actually joined us. If you're a Legionnaire, can you please stand? Thank you for being here, and thank you mostly for your service to have us eligible for what we do within the American Legion Auxiliary. So the American Legion, 1919, they started the American Legion chartered through Congress, and it takes the women, really, you've seen, to kind of do the work. I saw Janet, one of the videos that she did, and she was talking about this as an A.B.C. instructor. They got around the bar, kind of did what they did, talked about their stories, but who does the work? So I said, the spouses, wives at that time were at home. Let's give them something to do. We need their help. And so in 1921, we had our first convention in Kansas City and elected our first president, national president. And so that kind of gave us the foundation of our structure for our American Legion Auxiliary organization. So we have the national president elected every year, just like we have a department. They serve 1 year. And then they appoint their chairman. Same thing you'll see all the way down to what we do here in the units. Okay? How many departments do we have? Does anybody know how many departments we have within the country?
As an auxiliary.
As an auxiliary. What's it?
Departments?
Departments.
Would be 52.
That's correct. We have 52. Next question, who is the biggest department?
Hawaii.
Even though they beat us in membership, they actually only have about 112 members in their department. And that's kind of why, sometimes you'll see them freaking up on Florida, because we have over 44,000. But going back to the original question, who is the largest? It is Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania. So Florida is the second, and you'll see in membership, we have been lucky to be right there about second in, I'd say, last 5, 6, several years. So thank you. That's boots on the ground. That's every one of you talking membership up and getting our numbers up. So we appreciate you and what you do for membership. But that's kind of like our structure on national. And then from there,
Can I jump in
yes.
real quick? Because we had a question. To answer your question, why it's 52, because we only have 50 states. Puerto Rico, D.C.
A.B.C. that's own separate.
Yes, they're a separate, so they're a department. So we don't call it states, we call them departments. Now, on the state vehicle, you're gonna see state president, because that vehicle goes all over, and it's easy for the public to recognize state president. But here within the auxiliary, we are departments, because of that reason. We also have department over in France, we have American Legion presence.
Legion.
And we have presence in Guam. There's a few different areas that we have.
Yes, we have 55 departments.
55 departments.
For the
Wow.
Legion.
Pretty much today, without us repeating auxiliary 100 times, we're gonna focus on auxiliary, okay?
Yeah.
Just to make it easy, thank you.
Like, kind of talking about the parent for that because we're talking about the structure. So moving down to the department level, we elect our department president at convention, which is our annual meeting, and that person, that member president, is elected for 1 year. That's a 1-year term. There again, appointments are made for the programs, just like national and just like you do on district and unit level. How many districts do we have in the state of Florida?
17.
16. That's correct. We have 16. But we have 17 districts. The number we don't have is 10. That used to be down in the Miami area, and then they combined it. So
That's why you confused me.
Yes, that's why we do not have a 10.
That's weird.
And we have about 204 units within our Department of Florida. So the elected at department level is your president, first, second, third vice, and your historian and chaplain. Everybody else within the programs is appointed. Okay, and now we're going to take it down to unit. I'm going to turn it over to Jane to kind of talk about communication within the unit.
I'm good, if you're okay, I'm good. Makes it easier than passing. Okay, unit level. Like Lisa said, it's really not that much different than national and department, just on a smaller scale. You elect a president. Now, mind you, we're going by your governing documents, which we'll talk about later. Those are your constitution and your bylaws and your standing rules that are specific only to your unit. Okay, but typically units elect a president, a first vice, sometimes a second vice, depending on your size, even a third vice, your historian, your chaplain, and then units do one or the other when it comes to secretary. Some elect them, some want them appointed. Okay, smaller units, you're lucky you have enough people that want to be officers. So it's really dependent on your unit and your governing documents. But like Lisa said, that is the meeting protocol. If you've ever wondered why we do it in that order, for God and country. So what did we do today? We did a prayer, then we did the pledge. God, country. So you'll always remember how to start a meeting. Okay? Like Lisa said, communication is the key. I'm going to tell you now, as a past department president, my year was successful because of the people that I had under me. It wasn't me. I'm not Queen Bee. This is all a volunteer organization. All of us. I was no more special than the member in that unit that's working our mission. But the communication was there. So you have to answer emails. You have to disseminate information. So let's break those apart. Answering emails. If the president sends something to you, the unit president, isn't it nice for you to just hit reply, thank you, got it, or thank you, I'll be there. How many are unit presidents currently? And I'll keep my hand up, because yes, past department presidents could be unit presidents again. And I saw heads nodding, because that's helpful. Then at least I know the members are hearing me. Okay? You can hit reply all, but then you just get more emails. Okay, but at least, or shoot the president a text. Pam, thank you. I'm going to use you a lot today. It's your. Okay, thanks. Got the email. Because I didn't have time to respond to it, but I saw it on my phone. How many people only use their email on their phone? Couple pretty pretty much I do too. I have my laptop, but most of the time I'm looking at it on my phone, because my phone is with me. So please keep that communication going. Then when it comes to unit presidents, what kind of presidents would we be if we received information from Nettie, our district president, and we didn't give it to the members? What's the point? Our mission is to service, not self. We're here, we all joined for the same reason, didn't we? We wanted to help veterans, their family, our community, and our children and youth. It's our pillars. It's what the Legion was founded on. It's what the auxiliary was founded on. So communication is the key. Okay? We're going to talk about a couple things when it comes to communication. You don't have to like me. You don't have to invite me over for dinner. But we have to work the mission when we're here, don't we? This isn't my post, it's our post. If you want your own opinion and talk any way you want to, hey, they fought for that right. Do it somewhere else. Do it somewhere else. And we know it's hard. I know it's hard. But we've got to work together. We have to find a way to work together. We have to find a way to communicate that isn't mean-spirited. We'll leave it that way. Okay? Mean-spirited. Some people are more forceful. I'm going to admit, I'm a loud talker. My husband, not so much. Okay? Not so much. But once I start yelling or demanding, do you understand where I'm going with this? It's a different story. It's a different story. I can still have my opinion. I can still be passionate. And maybe that's the thing we need to do first is find out who we're talking to. Find out about that person and why they're speaking that way. Maybe that's the only way they know how to speak. Okay? Well, then you can find an avenue on how you can either help them speak differently, not tell them what to do. But a lot of the times we go about our lives, and how many times have you stopped and not realized you just did that? We've all done it, we're humans. So you recognize that behavior, then you switch it up a little bit. Okay, bigger issue, not only communication with the unit, is the Legion. We cannot disrespect our Legion. We're all married. Doesn't mean it's easy. Doesn't mean it's easy, but it has to happen. Because without the Legion, without the Sons, and if you have a chapter with the Riders, we don't have that family. And we're all family. And at the end of the day, we still have to help our veterans, children, youth, community, etc. Okay? So communication is the key. Sure, not a fan of your post commander this year. That's your opinion. But it should never come about in the post home. It just shouldn't. Why? What is the purpose? And then people tend to forget. A couple of years, it'll be a different commander. It is what it is. Our lives are cycles. Our Legion family is going to be cyclical. So why aren't we getting along? Just get along. At the end of the day, it's almost like kindergarten. We seem to have more problems as adults getting along than we did in kindergarten, where there was milk and cookies and naps. Maybe we need to go back to milk and cookie and naps. But we have to get along. We have to get along. And as unit presidents or officers, our members are looking at us. No different than little kids look at their parents how to act, how to respond, how to engage, how to help. Our members are looking at us. And we would never want to disrespect our auxiliary, in turn our Legion, by acting in a manner that isn't appropriate. Okay? Good. Yes, ma'am.
Good question. If the Legion commanders have a problem with an auxiliary member, do they go to the president address it with the president, and then the president addresses it with the auxiliary member?
Depends on what it is. Depends on what it is, my opinion. If, how many have a canteen?
We do.
Usually, my opinion, my opinion only, usually that's where most of the problems happen.
Yes.
With everyone. Let's just put it out with everyone, and we're not pointing fingers, okay? If it's a canteen issue, they have every right to go to the member themselves, whatever facet they are.
It would be a membership.
Now, would it be nice if the Legion then communicated with the president as well? But sometimes it has to happen right then and there.
Yeah, over an email.
If it's another issue, we would like them to communicate with us, because communication is always a two-way street.
And remember, we're the guest in the home of the host. So, you know, if it happens in the canteen, then it's activating Legion. You know, it's on their, if it happens in our meeting, then that's auxiliary. But we are the guest, so.
This was over an email though. An email that was sent, and it was a membership issue, and then it was addressed with me directly.
You're
It
the
should
unit
have
president.
gone to the unit president and then come to me and said it was brought to our attention. How do they handle those type of things? What is the protocol for communication between leadership?
The Legion. I would never stand here and tell a Legionnaire what they need to do, ever. I'm not a Legionnaire.
Right. So it's their choice, how they handle it.
Right. Who's to say what way is better or not? Do you understand where I'm going with this? We have to deal with it. We have to deal with it. We're not second-class citizens by any means, but we're not Legionnaires.
Now, they can't dictate our membership.
Do what?
They can't dictate our membership.
Right. It was all about membership.
I thought that's what I heard.
Yeah, it was all about membership, that I was too aggressive with stating the rules. You're expired, you're expired.
Right, but
Again,
It was addressed to auxiliary though, it wasn't addressed to Legion. It was
No.
addressed to the
it was
auxiliary.
literally an email to our auxiliary members that as of December 31st, your card is expired.
right, and I'm taking it that the Legion thought it was a little harsh.
Yes, but I didn't send it to the Legion.
Okay, let's start this over again. Do you know where I'm going with this? Who's the parent? Whether it's right, wrong, indifferent. Move past it.
Yeah. Well, that's why we were just trying to figure out
Move past it.
which would be the better protocol, you know. We felt it should go through the president come to.
If it was an auxiliary issue, I'd speak on it. I
And it was.
would never, ever, my personal opinion, I will never tell a Legionnaire what to do, ever. I move on.
Yeah.
No offense to women, but we know ourselves, don't we? Men deal with stuff, it's gone. Women, well, you know, Pam didn't use my cake at the cakewalk 5 years ago. What? And you laugh, but it's true. It's true. Move past it. It went out. You can't change it.
Right.
Their membership is expired, correct?
It is.
Then move past it. So they didn't like it. What if they loved it? Still move on. You see where I'm
But
saying
he
with
was
this?
telling me how to do my membership.
Yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir.
And
Thank
that's-
you, sir.
Move
And you
on.
go in your office and you do your thing.
I'll take it into consideration.
Yep,
Move on.
That's how I did it.
yep.
That's how I felt.
Then no problem. See what I mean?
Your opinion,
Yep.
That
mine.
way you're addressing
Yeah.
what he's saying, and
Move on.
you're able to move on.
Okay. Do you want to go into some of the, now that we're on the unit level, would you like to go through some of the positions? Okay, unit 7. Yes, ma'am.
Sorry, Nate. While you're doing the general thing, we know elections are coming up. Which positions must a unit have?
At the very least,
At the very least.
President,
We got a lot of
Secretary,
small.
Treasurer. President, Secretary, Treasurer. like to have more, but, hey, do you wanna get elections out of the way then?
And elections, just go back on that, Jane. Depending on how your standing rules are written, your secretary is either appointed or elected. So even though Jane said those three positions, you can look back at your standing rules and see how yours is written in there.
And it has to be either or.
Either or. You're either elected or appointed.
No. And we're taking at the very least,
Yes.
let's assume there's 50 unit members, but you only have 3 people interested, guess what? Pick between yourselves. You know which one you're gonna run for, because that's the basic of what you should have for the unit. Make sense? Okay, then when it comes time to elections, you start nominations, typically February-ish. Okay, depending on your unit, the traditions, you may wanna start in January, it doesn't matter. That's specific to your unit, okay? You can use an election committee, or a nominating committee. Do you have to have one? No. No. If you're fortunate enough to have all these members that wanna run, yeah. Why don't you elect a nominating committee to get people to run, to fill in slots, then see how many you have for each position, so you can do the election.
Now, if it's written in your standing rules that you will have a nominating committee,
Right.
then that is your house rules, part of your governing documents for your unit, and so then you would have to have that nominating.
And if you don't want one, you take it out of your standing rules. So it's not a must. Does that help with elections? Nominating, how many people have more people running for positions than they need? A couple of years ago, I was Constitution and Bylaws. Hey, if you don't want, review them. If this doesn't apply anymore, remove them. You don't have to have it, okay? Okay, then when it starts coming to positions, let's start with some of the other ones. Secretary, okay? Minutes, concise. You don't need to know that Pam said this, and Lisa said this, and Mary chimed in, and Barbara said this. You need to open it. How many secretaries? How many secretaries? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Meeting open. Had a quorum. Roll call. You following me? But when it comes to the bulk of your minutes, you should not have 5 pages of minutes. It's just, okay? You need the bare minimum would be those things, any reports, any bullet points from those reports. You don't have to say everything the Poppy Chairman said. You'd be there forever, okay? And then motions. You don't have to have the discussion on the motion, but you have to have that motion. Why? Because you voted to do something. You voted to spend money, you voted to do something. You have to have that motion. Who made it? You don't have to have the name of the second. If that's what you do in your unit, sure. Add Lisa, second the motion. But you have to state what the motion is and the end result. Because how are you gonna know 6 months down the road, wait a minute, we voted to pay so-and-so, we didn't pay them. I'm not paying them until, we voted. Okay? Secretary can do correspondence. If something comes into the unit, I give a thank you card. A letter from a local charity that's wondering if we could participate in something. Give it to the secretary. Secretary reads correspondence. Okay?
Any money that is spent, it's unit members' money. So, looking back, we did the audit throughout the year, making sure that every expenditure is written within your minutes. So that when that audit is done, we look back and we see, yes, this was approved at this meeting. So that everything with your minute, that's your history of your unit in that year, goes along with the money spent. It's very important, especially when it comes this time of year and you're getting ready to prepare your audit. Yes.
Will all of your minutes have to be issued by the president?
I think they should. And the secretary.
Right, well, I signed it.
Right. Because that's your legal document. how do we know? Not to accuse anyone, but how does a member know that those minutes from 6 months ago are the actual minutes, or Jane took them home and changed them?
Do we change minutes?
So let's talk, thank you.
That's- yeah.
So, and then I'm gonna let you go treasure on up. So then let's talk about that. Okay, Michelle's the secretary, okay? Whether you email them, because people think you can't email them. You can email them. It gets your members, one, know what's happening. We want our members to be involved, but we're making them come to a meeting. Good luck. How many people have every unit member coming to a meeting? No hands. Yep, again, no hands. Okay? Look at it this way. Sometimes you may not want that person at the meeting. However, because it's not being unkind, however, that member, every time there's an event, she'll volunteer. Every time there's a 50-50, she'll buy tickets. Every time you need a basket, she'll give you candles to put in the basket. So do we really care if she goes to a meeting or not? No. No. It isn't ugly, it's just reality, okay? So you can email them. The unit I belong to, we email them. However, what we don't do is, hey, Susie, secretary, you misspelled this. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. This is for information, distribute information only, okay? When it comes to the meeting, that's when the member can say, hey, will you just note that, you know, there's a spelling error, which is so silly anyway, if it's close enough. Let's say it's an amount. It wasn't $100 to go to the Legion. It was $1,000 to go to the Legion, okay? The secretary, does she take those minutes home? Does the secretary take those minutes home to correct them? Nope. She writes in pen on those typed minutes, crosses out 100, 1,000, she initials it, president initials, then they both sign. That's why minutes accepted as read or presented or distributed, or minutes as corrected. Because then every member knows that as you go through month and month and year of legal documentation for your unit, because most of you guys had a new unit a couple years ago, right? The rest of you have been around for a while. Every documentation, every minute is part of your legal record for your unit. Makes sense? So this way every member can go and they know that Michelle had, we all do it. She had 1,000, it was supposed to be 100. Let's flip it the other way, you know? So she corrected it. So then you have them. Okay? Yes, ma'am.
You were saying that every expenditure, if it's in your budget, that's a whole different thing, because your budget was such.
That's correct. If your unit, how many units do a budget? Okay, of those units, if you voted on the budget and you and the unit members are not going outside of that voted on budget amount for children youth, okay? Then no, you don't have to vote on that expenditure. How many units do not have a budget? One? Okay, then you would have to vote on every expenditure. Yep. Unless you have something in your standing rules for unit present discretionary fund, $50 a month, unit chaplain to send out cards, postage, that kind of thing, but that's already in your governing documents. But everything else would then have to be voted on. Okay? Anything else on the secretary? Okay, we'll go to treasurer.
Okay. How many treasurers do I have in the room? All right. So, your job is very important. You're taking care of money, right? And we already said how many budgets. Most of the units here have budgets. That is impressive. Very good. So that you don't have to, every little ink cartridge or paper spent, you have to report back to membership. It's always good to report that back and say, yes, we're donating this much money to this, we're taking out this line item. We can do that as a treasurer. The treasurer report should be prepared monthly and presented to the membership monthly. Checks, we recommend and highly suggest 2 signatures on every check. The bank, yes, will cash it, but procedures within associations, especially nonprofits, it's a good standard of practice to have 2 signatures on every check. If you're making the check, you spent something, say that the president is a check signer, but you need to reimburse her, she went to Walmart, got some things, you should have 3, I recommend having 3 signers at the bank at least, because you're not gonna want her to be your second signer when the check is made out to her. That's just not good standard of procedure. Within budget, have your audits. You're gonna want to have an audit every year. So make sure that your reports monthly are in order, so that when the audit committee is appointing comes in, then they can take over and look at the reports, look at the minutes, and everything matches. So they can get that audit done and approved to move on to membership. Because your audit and those reports not only help with the audit, but they help with your budget. You want to look back and say, yes, we spent this much money, and the more couple of years you can look back, it's the better grounding that you can have for your budget. Because this year we may have spent 50, but the year prior we spent 150 on printing. But what was the difference there? Where should we be? Maybe 75. So it's a good standard to use those documents when setting your budget.
Yes. Please try to avoid having your treasurer give you account balances. Do you know what I mean by that? They come to the meeting, this month, this is our checking, this is our savings, and this is, whatever. Okay? That's only balances. Every member, every single member deserves to know what we're spending. However, you don't have to list every check. If you're a smaller unit, it's not gonna hurt. Don't forget, we wrote that $1,000 check to the Legion. We, blah, blah, blah. But you should have what we spent and what we took in. How else do we know, unless we're really diligent as members, keeping track, that we did a 50-50 today and made $100, but our checking account didn't go up? It went down. Does that make sense? You have that? I have it too. I have it too when I'm thinking. So if you're thinking, or you have a question, you're just thinking, okay? Does that make sense to you, what I'm saying?
So you don't have to give the balances in each account.
No, what I'm saying is, some treasurers who don't know, we all know we're new. We're fighting for members with knowledge to take positions. But if you have someone and you notice that your treasurer at the meeting is giving a report going, okay, as of this date, we have this much in checking, this much in saving, and this much in our CD or our slush fund. Okay, how much did we take in from every Thursday hot dogs? How much did we make on the basket? How much did we make on the 50-50? Do you follow me? So you need to have the monies coming in and the monies coming out. Now, it's up to your unit. If you want her to list every check that she wrote, like in a spreadsheet, does that make more sense?
But you were saying that they should not say what the actual balances
Should
are?
not only report.
Only. I missed the word only.
Right, only report.
I missed that
Because
on
what
the
does
one.
that tell you? Nothing.
No.
Nothing. That just tells you what's in the bank account as of this date.
How do we bring that money in, what was spent?
So you need the in and out.
Right.
Right.
And you don't have to list every check. It depends on the unit. It depends on how many checks you write. I'm from a smaller unit. We don't write that many. However, we do hot dogs every Thursday. We do 50-50s for the Legion Building Fund. We do baskets to raise money. So we need to know, for one thing, is it worth what we're spending on the hot dog supplies to what we're bringing in? Is this a moot point if we're making $5 a week? I mean, it's a great service for the members, but is it a profitable moneymaker for the unit? Make sense? How are you gonna know what account balance is? Yeah, you're not.
That's why monthly budget reports are so important, so that your membership can see, what are we doing? What are we bringing in, what's going out?
Just to comment about budgets, because we have had this discussion. Just because it's in the budget does not mean you have to spend it. So like in our budget, because last year we did a lot with the canines out of Brooksville. Well, this year we kind of backed off from that because we're focusing more on a different charity. It's in the budget, but we're probably not gonna spend it for that because we're using that money for something else. So just because it's in the budget doesn't mean you have to spend it.
So,
For that.
budget approved, beginning of the year, and then this charity comes, you could bring it to membership and say, you know, we have $10,000, say, in Hannah, but we really wanna give to this charity, we're very passionate about it. And then you go to the membership and see if you can move from this line to give to this charity, and then have it approved by membership.
So just because
It's
it's
still the
there
money
doesn't mean
spent.
it's in-
At the end of the day, it's still how much you agreed to spend. You're just moving it to another
Right,
nonprofit.
it's kind of like I budgeted, you know, $50 for groceries this week, but I needed gas more, so I just moved it over there instead.
Good
So budget
example.
is flexible.
Yep,
Good example.
yes.
Okay, if you have Girls Day, you already have a budget, you did fundraisers, you made enough money to pay for Girls Day. So going into the following year, should you still put that money in there for Girls Day? You didn't use it this year.
Did you raise it as Girls' Day?
Yes.
And yes, ma'am.
Yes, if you even if you have a basket raffle and say it's for, I don't know, let's go back to canine. And this basket we're putting together, proceeds are going to canine, but a bill comes up and we need to pay this bill. Can you spend the money on this bill?
No.
Because we specifically said this money for this basket is going to canine. So the same thing for
Okay,
Girls Day.
so if you have the money there, and you don't need it this year, you've done these fundraisers to cover the cost of Girls' Day, can you carry it over to next year?
Yeah.
So it's already.
Yeah, you're just using that fund. It's an earmarked fund versus your budget.
And then if money is for something else, you have to bring it to the meeting.
No, you can't use
No.
that for anything else, because you specifically started out and said, we're having a fundraiser for.
But I'm talking about what you already budgeted.
So in the budget, it says girls'
Okay.
day.
Yeah, one moment. Say
In
that
our-
all over again.
In our budget, we put aside so much for the Girls' Day program. Okay. Meantime, I did fundraisers, and I made enough money to pay for Girls' Day. So that money is in our budget and in our treasury, because we didn't use it for anything else. Can we delegate it to a different program?
You're missing the point of a budget.
Okay.
You're talking budget and you're talking earmarking. Okay, so let's say you have not done any fundraisers. What is your budget for the unit for Girls' Day? 400, 800? Give me a number. Okay. Okay, well, because you're bigger, but I need the number that she's working with. So, okay, 4,000. Okay, you have no earmarked money in your treasury for that, correct?
Yes. It's in the budget. It's in the,
So you can use that money to.
No. And you can't. Do you know what I'm saying? Come on, district presidents.
I'm confused.
Okay, here's your budget. Here's your budget, okay? Let's forget what you have in your checking account, okay? Here's your budget. Here's what you plan on spending. You voted on the budget, okay? And they budgeted 4,000 for Girls' Day. Everybody with me? Okay. Here we have the unit treasurer's report. Okay? No monies are earmarked. And what that means is, they did not do a fundraiser for anything you can make up, Girls' Day, children or youth, anything, under the guise that that's where the money is going. Make sense so far? So here is their treasurer report, and it's just all money that's not earmarked. So following the proper unit procedures of voting or budget or whatever, they can spend this on whatever. Everybody with me? Now Michelle is saying, I did fundraisers and we brought in $5,000 for Girls' Day. No problem. Treasurer earmarks $5,000. When Girls' Day happens, they take out the 4 out of the budget that they don't have to vote on, but that $1,000 will stay in the treasurer's fund bank accounts, you follow me, earmarked for Girls' Day. So now next year, Girls' Day doesn't change in their budget and it's $4,000, Michelle only has to do, and the unit, you follow me, but to make it easier, Michelle only has to raise $3,000 now because they have $1,000 in there. Follow me? So they work together, but they're two separate things. If it's earmarked, it's earmarked. Prime example, the unit I belong to does Christmas every year. We're blessed that we have a Legion family. We ask the Legion for $500. We donate $500, and we ask the squadron for $500 for Christmas. $1,500. We're in a poor community. We're in Dixie County, and there's a lot of needy families. This year, we were able to buy clothes, toys, everything cheaper. We did not use all the $1,500. And once the Children and Youth Chairman reported at our meeting that we were fortunate enough, we only used $1,300, let's say. And before I could say anything, she says, now, what do we do with the other 200? And I looked at the members and the treasurer and said, 200 stays earmarked for children and youth. Do you get why now? Because we raised it for children and youth Christmas. It's got to be used for Christmas. Our members, right, you follow me? We voted, do you get me now? So now do you see where it is? It has to stay earmarked. So let's say just because we did 4,000. Unit bank account is 10,000. Okay? She raised, what I tell you, 5,000? Okay, I'm sorry. You only have 5,000 available because you had no other earmarks than Girls' Day. Follow me? You still have the 10,000, but you said this 5,000 was going to Girls' Day, and it must go to Girls' Day. Doesn't have to be this Girls' Day, but eventually you got to have a Girls' Day.
Because if you tell people they're donating to this,
Yes.
and then you use the money.
Did you hear them? Otherwise, it's just, well, not only dishonest. Be careful. It's illegal. It's illegal. Okay? So hopefully that made sense.
Now, what happens if the treasurer goes on vacation and you have this checkbook? Totally in town, what happens to that checkbook prior to?
When our treasurer went on vacation, it was handed over to the
We don't
president.
let her go.
Correct. Yes, you hand it back to the president
We don't let her go.
until she returns. She's not allowed to go. Sorry, that's part of it.
Is it my checkbook? Whose checkbook is it?
Now, is it wise, like the one, unit I was president at, we got 2, cards to go along with the checkbook and everything. But we made sure there was a limit of what, like if the president, if I was out somewhere and it was like, hey, this is a good deal, we need this for our unit, I was only allowed to make like a $50, no more than $50 purchase.
So you
That
have
would, go ahead.
a discretionary fund within your unit that was deemed, and then with that, piggyback on that, you want to bring that expense back to your next meeting and let your members know that that's what you did. But I would,
Where is that?
I would be very.
Where is that? Standing rules. Only if it's in your standing rules can you be out somewhere in person.
That was it, it was in the
Period.
standing room.
Period. It makes it very simple.
I see, I only wanted one card to be issued, but the secretary said, no, we really need to have 2 cards. Well, when I go on vacation, I would, say, hey, I can hand the card to you because I don't need it.
Right.
And that way it's safer with you than with me out on the road someplace.
Who has that in your standing rules? Right.
Discretionary fund for the president. How many, no offense ladies, but you're here to learn and we're here to teach. How many don't know if it's in there? So it doesn't really matter if it's a credit card or a checkbook, it doesn't matter. But she cannot, as president, spend any money unless it's voted on, or there's something in the standing rules.
So if you find that, and it's not there, then you wouldn't be able to see
It was in our standing rules that I
Right.
spent up to 50.
That's what I assumed.
There you go.
Yes.
I get you, but there, yeah. Okay, so now, I wanna switch only to standing rules, cause that brings up another issue. If you don't know what's in your standing rules, I know.
Where can we find them? Where to find our governing documents? Every unit has their governing documents, including standing rules, online. So if a member comes up, ALASL.org. So if a member wants a copy, send them to the website, they can download it right from there. And make sure that they are your updated ones. Sometimes we see units making changes to standing rules because they can be changed at any time. Constitutional values are a little different, but if they don't reach department and they're up there, then your current ones are not posted for your members to see.
So every time you make a change, you have to send them to department.
If you make a change to your standing rules, send the whole entire document to department to have us upload on there. And make sure that, you're gonna sign them, the standing rules, as well as your
Who
constitution,
signs?
the unit president and secretary. And
And the unit
constitution.
CME chairman if you have one.
Oh,
Yep, Constitution and bylaws, sorry to use anagrams. I remember so long, CNB, Constitution and bylaws. So if you have a chairman, they sign them as well, okay? Believe it or not, it's a handy procedure. Even if you ask one of your members to print them out, the more your members know, the more they're involved. Plain and simple. How many people joined the auxiliary and knew everything to do? Who's my person that keeps saying, once again, no hands? None of us. None of us knew. None of us knew. And if we truly want members to be active, we still gotta give them the information. Okay? Everybody good with treasurer? Okay? Let's go to historian, then we'll switch over to PR. Historian. What's the role of the historian?
Document history.
History in what form? Written. It is a written history of the unit. Now, yes, does it work hand in hand with PR? Yeah. But it is a written history of what the unit did. They compile everything the unit did and write it in a narrative. Okay? If you can't have both historian and PR, fine. Combine them. Combine them. But PR is advertisement, reaching out to the community. Come see us here at Dunnellon. Here's what we're doing now. We're still here. We're still here. That's PR. They're working hand in hand, but historian is narrative.
Is that reported every month to the group?
It depends.
Okay.
The unit I belong to, she does just to update everybody. If something happens, she'll report, yep, okay, the Christmas bike giveaway in Trenton, Florida, Christmas on Main. We brought the 5 bikes, the kids loved it, and then the kids at Christmas, all the needy families in Dixie County, I've added that to our yearly report. Done. She does it for FYI. So then we don't have someone at the end, or that our members think that at the end of the year they're going, oh my God, we're writing this narrative and it's a long, you know what I mean? You don't have to have, they don't have to have a report every month. The unit I belong to, she tends to update us when she's updated our yearly narrative. Make sense?
It helps to write your narrative starting at the beginning of the year, so that you're not trying to remember something 9 months later, that what your unit has done. Also, Facebook is an excellent source. Everything's going on Facebook, right? How many units have a Facebook page?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe. Because I know you're one unit, you're another unit, you're another unit. Okay.
That's a great source for your PR and your historian to write back. But I would encourage, if you're a historian, to write that narrative day one. I mean, just keep that going so that at the end of the year, you have the accurate information, because you're going to forget things that happened 3 months ago. Right now is a great example of PR and the difference between PR and historian. Ms. Verna Luke here is our department VA&R chairman, and she is PR chairman.
That's okay.
My mind. And she's videotaping this. We're in the moment of public relations. Our historian can then write this from today and say, this was done. You know, we were here, District 4, Dunnellon, and we live streamed the entire event. That now goes from PR to historian. So you kind of see the difference there, and what one's a narrative, more of the pictures, live actions, it's going to Verna as our PR.
Okay, let's get to the big one. It always comes up. President.
You going to the bathroom, Jane?
Do you have a gavel? Do you have a gavel? How far back? No. We get this question all the time. What happens when Mary's talking, she's arguing with Susie, and blah, blah, blah. You don't understand, Jane. What do we do? President? Who runs the meeting? President. Plain and simple. The president is in charge. I know everybody's passionate. They get excited. They get whatever. They have their own opinion. They want to voice their opinion. We will raise our hands to speak. If it's not in your standing rules, put it in your standing rules. Then you have something as a unit to fall back on, because it works. If someone's watching the hen house, the fox doesn't get in that much. And that's what it boils down to. We have to raise our hands, and members cannot speak unless they are recognized. It helps. It helps. How many people want to sit in an hour-and-a-half unit meeting? Once again, no hands. No one does. It makes the process go. So as the president, you have to be a leader. Now, do you have to be as strong, vocal? I'll use myself as an example. I can't be size 1, 5'2". Not happening. I'm 5'10", 10-pound baby. I know what I am. I know what I was. I know what I can be. Okay? I'm not saying you have to be me. So you can do it quietly, politely, but you can still be in control of that meeting, can't you? They're looking to you. They're looking to you to lead them. And it only helps you get stronger, more confident, more assertive, more professional, more positive, more, you could come up with all these good words, and it helps you because it's in our governing documents. Do you see where I'm going? You're not blaming anyone, you're using it as the tool that it should be. One by one. Everyone will get a chance to speak. Some units put in there 2-minute timeline, 3-minute timeline. And that's helpful. I'm not going to lie. If you wanted to me, I could talk all day. You don't want me to talk all day. So think about that as a unit. Do we want to put a timeline? And then members, you hear it all the time. Oh my God, and the meeting went on and I didn't know what was going on and all of that. You never see them again. You never see them again. And what a missed opportunity. Missed opportunity, okay? So the president runs it. The other thing is, egos at the door. Plain and simple. I'm only the president. It isn't a bad thing. I'm not. What was the Titanic? I'm king of the world. No, you're not. You're the president. You're the president. You're the leader. You're the leader. Okay? However, you need to know what your people are doing. You're not questioning them, but you are allowed to ask questions. One, you're the president. Two, you're a member. So I'm going to ask the treasurer. I'm going to ask the secretary, whoever said they were a secretary. I'm going to ask. I'm going to ask the chairman. Happy chairman, what's going on? Hey, when's our next date? We need to bring it up in the meeting. What you got? Oh yeah, Jane, it's going to be on such. Here's where it's going to be. Boom. It's in my agenda. Okay? Then in turn, I should be there helping them. Okay? The same with first, second. How many people have third vices? Okay. How many people have two vices, first and second? How many people only have first vice? Oh, wow. Okay. Your first and or second is the same. You're an officer. You're there to assist in any way possible. Why wouldn't you want to be? What did you take it for? Do you know how many times we hear, sorry, but I get on a roll. How many times we hear, oh, the president resigned of unit A.B.C. Oh, okay, so Lisa stepped up as first vice? Oh no, she said she wasn't going to be president. Okay, I'm sorry. What if Jane died? Got hit by a bus, God forbid. What is Lisa doing? Of course Lisa's going to step. So if you don't want to be president, it doesn't have to be ever, but you can help out in another role. Does that make sense? Find the avenue for Lisa if she will never, ever, ever, ever take precedent. Okay, not going down that road. I'd rather deal with the ones that are interested and groom them. Let's find Lisa's niche. Let's find a position that would be good for her on the unit level. Okay? Thank you.
How many
I
units?
wanted to tell a story real quick. When I became unit president, Jane was becoming.
Hey, Michelle, will you do me a favor and stand up so people can hear you? Yep.
I think it's kind of funny. Anyway, when I became unit president, Jane was becoming department president. So I went to the president's class, and she told us that we're not God. Okay? So then I meet my husband for lunch, and he said, how was class? I said, well, I learned I'm not God.
So needless to say, her husband loved me.
He did.
Thank you for sharing.
I will never forget it.
It's the truth.
It's the truth.
It's
For
the
the
truth.
chair over that meeting.
And it doesn't happen in every legion, but I am so ingrained in the Legion family. I've said it in the Legion meetings, in my capacity. We know our role. I'm good with that. But I see so many people speak to Legionnaires in their post homes as if it was theirs. There's no reason for it. Two, it accomplishes nothing. I don't care what they think. They may think they feel better at the end of the day when they lay their head down on the pillow. It accomplishes nothing. Nothing. We have to work as a family. And I don't know about y'all, but I never got to talk to my mother and dad that way. I knew what would happen.
Oh, yeah.
So why would I do it in my Legion family? No. It is what it is. Okay, you already did chairman in the School of Instruction. Please, please.
So, I'm the president, and I want to speak on the motion. Which I'm on the floor. I feel very strongly about this. So, as a president, they're the chair. I mean, you're not there to make the motion or to vote on the motion. But I feel very strongly about this certain topic on the floor. What am I going to do? Who knows the protocol and how to handle that? Yes.
You, step aside and get the first place.
Relinquish the chair. That is what it's called. So I'm going out here. Jane is my first vice. She now assumes the meeting. Do I say what I want to say and then just, oh, Jane, good, I'm done?
No.
Okay,
When do I
first she
come
has
back?
to be, I'm gonna take over because I'm president. First, she has to act like every other member,
Right.
not that Lisa wouldn't, and wait to be recognized. Then once she is adamant that, what's a local charity here for Dunnellon? Boys Club, make something up. What do you do every year? You do an annual yard sale or something, right? Or Boys Club. Okay. She is adamant that the Boys and Girls Club is a wonderful organization and she wants to speak on it. Okay? She can then make the motion if she wants to. Or she doesn't have to, but she's going to speak on it. Then when the motion is all done, then she can come back and take the chair. Does that make sense? Typically, it doesn't happen a lot because as president, like Lisa said, you're just running the meeting. You should not offer your opinion. You should not dictate what's going on. Do you know why? Because your members are gonna look to you and they think, well, she's president, okay, we have to do it. That's not right. It's not only is it not correct, it's not right. You wouldn't want to influence your members as president. However, Lisa as president felt strongly because the people in the audience weren't catching on what a good program the Boys and Girls Boys and Girls Club is. So that's why she felt the need to come down. Does that make sense? Okay. One other time would Lisa, as president, get to vote? Okay, whenever. What else?
Real quick on the tie. I don't know, I got friends over here and I got friends over here. Do I have to break the tie?
No.
That's correct, I do not have to break the tie. I can send it back to be tabled for more information and bring back next meeting, but I as president do not have to break that tie. When else, like Jane said, as a unit president, would have the opportunity to vote?
Say it louder, please.
Elections.
Ballot vote.
Yes, that was.
Isn't she a member? Isn't the first vice, second vice, treasurer? So, yeah, they're all members. Just because they're officers, they're members. They can vote as well.
You see that happen at our department convention, where the whole podium, stage, we go down, we vote within our unit, because we are a member first. So we go with our membership, our unit, and then we come back, assume our responsibilities as a department. Now, I'm running late, Jane, and I don't know if I'm gonna make this meeting. Should a unit president cancel a meeting, or contact, like I just did Jane, my first vice, Jane's gonna be available for the meeting. We think our members are gonna be there, so proceed on, is what I'm hearing for the meeting. Jane, I don't know if I'm gonna be there, so go ahead and.
Perfect. Can I go further?
Yeah.
Thank you. I don't want to have it. I'm going to call my secretary. Beverly Hills is doing bingo. Crystal River's having whatever. We're not going. We're not going. Is that it? Unit just doesn't have a meeting? No. Why?
You have to have notification.
No, all the officers are taking a break.
Well, if I'm a member and I show up here and you said there was a meeting and it's all off
You come to the meeting, no officers are here. What's the first thing you need to do? Think about it. Say, who said that? Stand up, please, and say that loudly.
You have no officers at your meeting, you don't have quorum. You cannot vote on anything.
Do you have a quorum? If you have a quorum, do you know what a quorum is? It is your required number of members. Members. Are you following? Members. You have 10 members show up to your meeting and the officer said, screw it, we're going to Beverly Hills or Crystal River, play bingo, whatever. You have a quorum. You can run a meeting, you can do legal business. There is a reason for that. Otherwise, we could always not have meetings. No. You as members have rights. Okay? So now let's continue that scenario. What happens? We have 10 members. Okay? What do we need to do?
Have somebody be secretary.
Appoint someone. If you had an officer there, then that would be the logical conclusion is they would run the meeting unless they're secretary. You have to have someone who's secretary. You wouldn't do your secretary. So you look around the room, are there any past unit presidents? Are there, you might have not have been a unit president, but you were first or second vice for the last 10 years. You just weren't this year. Then because it's someone with knowledge to run the meeting. However, you can run that meeting. And there's a reason you do that, because otherwise you have officers, and it's not a bad thing. It's a great thing that members have that kind of say in our organization, that they can run the meeting and do business.
But Jane, I am the secretary and I want to run this meeting.
Need a secretary? She's already secretary. She
Stay in my role.
Yep, she stays in her role and she gets someone to be appointed, and everybody agrees that we're going to, Pam used to be unit president 5 years ago. Pam, will you be president today for the meeting? Sure. Boom. Boom. Just because you don't have the treasurer there, because she went to 155 to play bingo, hey, shame on her. Should have emailed somebody the report. Hey, you can forego that report. However, that doesn't mean you can't conduct business. Because what if it's the month before the big boys, girls, why do I keep saying boys, girls day? Boys club, boys and girls club fundraiser. And we haven't gotten decorations. Okay? Business needs to be done, and it can be done. Okay?
You're not saying that 10 members can get together on an off night and constitute that's a meeting and overrule, like have a side meeting.
No, ma'am.
Right.
And in your standing rules, you usually have that listed when your meeting nights are, your time of your meeting. So it's right there. You just can't have a side meeting unless it's called and certain protocol is followed. So many days notification to membership for that special meeting.
I did say meeting, correct? I just want to make sure that I don't need the mic. Right.
Right, but I wanted to make sure that, because you said members had rights, that 10 members get together and say, well, we're gonna meet. No. We don't care.
No.
They can't go to the bar and decide to have their own meeting and then
No.
come back. No.
And come back and say, well, we voted as members. Okay.
No different than the officers decide to cancel, they cannot. Members can't have a private meeting. Make sense? Both sides. Both sides. Janet, we'll go Janet and then you, ma'am. Sorry.
Just a comment, because you're saying in the standing rules, how many makes a quorum. Now, I have seen in standing rules and strongly encourage units to change it. It said that so many officers plus members made the quorum. So in your scenario, Jane, you couldn't have a meeting because there's no officers there. So if your standing rules say you need officers to make a quorum, my opinion is that you should change that. Because you don't need an officer to run a meeting, you need members to run a meeting.
correct, and I will counter with, I think it's illegal to say officer. According to Robert's Rules of Parliamentary Procedure, a quorum is a quorum. So just because you wrote on your standing rules that you have to have one officer, if it isn't legal, it isn't legal. Didn't change the quorum, did it? So if you have it in your standing rules, remove it. Remove it. A quorum is a quorum is a quorum.
And you also want to look and see how many you have in that number.
Good point.
You don't want to base it on membership. You may have 150 members and say, well, I can get 25 for my quorum, and never meet that quorum, so you're never being able to vote on anything. Keep that number low. So I would encourage you to go back and look and see what your quorum is on your standing rules. And see
That
how
was the question that I had.
Oh, okay. Yes, ma'am.
Ladies, one moment, please.
I'm Suzanne Taker from Unit 230 in Hawthorne. And actually, I was gonna say, is there a suggestion based on the percentage of people? What's realistic? In other words, you have to be realistic when you set your quorum. And the other question I had before was, as a historian, do we send that, a report to the president? She sends it on to somebody?
Okay, let's start with the quorum. First, your quorum should be realistic. 3 isn't really realistic unless you only have 5 people that ever come to your meetings. Follow me? Because it has to be odd number. You know why, right? Because when you're voting, if it's even number, you're never going to get anywhere, okay? So it needs to be odd. The realistic, depending on how many members come up, my opinion, and I always tell people anywhere from 3 to 7. Why would you need more? Who cares if you have 100 people coming to your meetings? Okay. You still only need 7. Done. You still have 100 people come to your meetings and you're still doing business. Make sense? Yeah. In my opinion, it should not be any higher than 7.
Do you have a quorum for officers or the board meeting? Do you need a quorum for that?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
And it's executive committee.
Oh.
You're all right. You're in a class.
And why?
Legion has boards. We do not. There's a reason they have boards. They have property. They have buildings. They have canteens. They have tables. They have, they need a board. We have committees. So we have an executive committee. Just so you know, helpful hint, okay?
And within their executive committee, do they vote? They're there to bring recommendations to the membership. Your membership votes on the unit and where the money is spent.
Now, let's say Commander calls you, you're the unit president, Commander calls you and says, hey, Jane, Tom Smith, Legionnaire, died. Is there any way that you guys can bring in food, decorate the hall for the celebration of life, blah, 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 okay? We do not have an auxiliary member. Excuse me, let me start over. We do not have an auxiliary general membership meeting until after his celebration of life. Do you follow me? Okay? That constitutes an emergency. Some units put it in their standing rules. I've seen it to where we authorize up to, $50 to purchase supplies, food, whatever, in the event of a celebration of life. If you don't, we can't spend that money. So the president would have to call an emergency executive committee meeting. That is your officers. Everybody with me? Okay? Can I just call my 3 friends? I have to reach out by email, phone call. We don't have to meet in person. I've seen it on Zoom, but I have to make an attempt to reach every member. Okay?
Member of the committee.
Of the committee. The subject is still the executive committee. Follow me? Okay? I have to reach out to every member. Now, do I stop after I've reached the majority? No, ma'am. I have to let everyone respond in a normal time frame, if you will. Okay, because let's say we have a week. I can give them several days, because I know they're playing bingo at 1:55 today. They go every Thursday. Okay, I'll tell them, please respond by Saturday, because it's the following Saturday is the celebration of life, and we don't have another meeting for another month, general membership. So I have to give them a reasonable amount of time to respond. Then at the next general membership, I have to report as president, here's what happened. Amanda reached out to me because Tom Smith passed away, blah, 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 so we spent $50 on food for the celebration of life. I have to report that to the general membership.
Same thing with the discretionary fund that we were talking about, and within that, if that situation came up, then the president has the discretionary fund and say, yes, we can make a platter for that, we'll just take it out of that grade, the membership. Report it in the minutes, because there again, everything is recorded in the minutes, so the end of the year, that audit can go smoothly. As we were talking about the descriptions for, so we were just talking about the description of the elected officers, who knows what this book is? It's the unit guide. So all those positions that we've talked about today are in here in description of what each position entails. So, you know, if you're looking to, somebody is looking to maybe become a unit president, or even a district president, I would recommend you go to the unit guide and see what's entailed in the position. All the information is in the unit guide. This is like our Bible, Department Bible.
I'm trying to think of anything else on the unit level. Do you have questions on the unit level?
I have a question on the.
Okay, hang tight, hang tight. Yes, Nick?
I just want to let people know the unit guide is online,
Yes.
because I know some people don't want to spend the money to get copies for all their members, but you can go right to ALAFL and read it.
That's
And
correct.
download it.
Yes.
Download it right from there.
Absolutely.
I refer many times when I'm out, go right to the unit guide. Eleanor and I were talking about that this morning. I would write to the guide, right online, and found what we were looking for, and rather than pulling the book out, it's right there.
I do it all the time.
Yep.
And I'm sorry, what unit are you from, Miss Deb?
How about 236?
Thank you. Isn't it nice to have a number and a city name? You may know it within your district, you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. Hang on, Michelle was next, I think, and then you.
Michelle Cavalier, Unit 5, Crystal River. So, executive committee meeting, so you have to roll call, do a text, do a meeting,
For the emergency.
or the emergency. Does that have to be all written out, or does the president just report it?
It depends. If it was phone calls, then she reports it. If it was emails, I give the email, because that's what I give to the treasurer.
So you don't have to do it like a minute of it?
No.
So you
No.
can just print that email,
Yes,
that I send it out, or that they replied, or both?
I who? I, president.
Secretary.
Typically on that, my opinion, like I just did one a couple months ago, forget what it was for, and it was an emergency. I did the email. I did the email, not the secretary. They responded, all the officers, executive committee responded to me, and I printed it out and gave it to the treasurer. Treasurer's still on there. She's part of the executive committee, but I printed it just because and gave it to her. And said, please put that with your, yep.
Is it okay for the secretary to do it instead of the president?
On an emergency, I mean, you could, I just think it comes better from the president. Otherwise, they're not hearing from the president, they're hearing from the secretary, not that you would do anything, but if the other officers are only hearing from the secretary, where's your president? Does the president know the secretary?
Playing bingo.
Thank you. saying? On that, I think it should come from the president, because otherwise you don't know. Just because Michelle said it, doesn't mean Michelle would steal or do anything illegal. How do you know? You don't know.
Okay, Jane, how about if the president is out of the country?
Well, then that's one thing. You as the board, the secretary. Did you catch that? She said, what if the secretary would, or the president was out of the country? Who becomes president if the president's out? Thank you. Comes from her. Or him.
Who's calling the emergency meeting?
Or him.
You know, it's gonna be you, chances are your president in that case first size. Any other questions on the unit fund? No.
I know that we are guessing the American Legion Post. I was asked a question earlier, can the American Legion Post Commander demand money from the auxiliary?
They can only ask for rent. Sorry, I didn't mean you paused, so I, yep.
Not demand,
Yep.
They can ask for a donation towards something, but they cannot demand money from the auxiliary.
Rent.
we are a separate 501c19, they're a 501c3, they have their own account, we have our own bank account.
Can they demand to look at your books?
No, that's public knowledge.
Yeah.
That's public knowledge. Now, I'm a firm believer of, how do I put this politely? Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you give the Legion money? Do you use their to-go boxes? Do you use their supplies in any way possible? Yeah, they buy the plates. They buy the to-go boxes. They buy the... So, in that instance, I'm a firm believer. Go to the commander and say, hey, what would you think if I brought up in the next meeting to give $300 a quarter to you? Or whatever. Do it this way. Does that make sense? Do it this way.
The auxiliary can help. We have Unit 335, for example, Hudson. They are in need of a roof. So the whole family is coming together. And so auxiliary is raising funds for that roof. The Legion is doing stuff because, remember, our family. So with under that roof, we are a family, and so we need to try to support you.
And I have another question. Can they demand 50% of your, of all your events that you raise in funds for other events?
Are you using your kitchen or?
Just can they demand 50% of your
Whatever you prefer.
fundraising, whatever you're fundraising for?
I'm really not woke, but I don't like the word demand. So do you really mean it?
Yes.
Or are they asking? Okay? Her national auxiliary via the Legion, because don't forget, nothing that the auxiliary doesn't fall under National Legion. I'm telling you right now. I grew up in this organization, and people always told me, and it's a good thing I started to do research and take classes, okay? We all know they can. Why? Because they added male spouses. We did not vote on that. Don't have to. No need. It's the Legion. That's not a bad thing. But let's remember where we're at. So, I would rather tell you, no, you only have to pay them rent. Okay? However, I am going to tell you, find a solution. Find a solution. In 22 years or however long I've been a member, I've seen posts throughout the state of Florida do this. They are wonderful Legion family. And then something happens, and now we're getting to where this one, did it, and it doesn't work. It doesn't work because guess what? To make it better again, you're doing all that work again to make it good. Why would you allow it to falter to do that work all over again to make it good? Do you see what I'm saying? We have to work with the Legion. I'm not advocating give them your checkbook and just give it to them. but there's a way to find a solution. I don't care if it's, I'm not advocating the unit to vote on 25%. I'm giving an example. It's the Legion. We use their electricity. We use their kitchen. We use their supplies. We use their air conditioning. We use their building, etc., etc. Find a solution, work it out.
Take it to your members.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Yeah. See what they want to do.
make a donation.
Because this is a good example to tie in with the next one. Do you know why our preamble is different than the American nations? Do you have a joint district meeting? Is yours joint? You know how they open it up? Does your district commander do the preamble, then you guys separate? Okay, and we're kind of sitting there because ours is different. The difference is to,
There's one line.
yep, help me out, and I know it by heart, to participate in, contribute to the accomplishments and the aims and purposes of the American nation. Period. We don't exist without them.
They're our parents.
Okay, I've got a building with Citrus County. Doesn't matter if there's a Legion. Citrus Springs. I'm an auxiliary member. Come on, ladies, let's go start an auxiliary. Let's buy some property. I get the Powerball. Let's go buy a post home. No, ma'am. The way a unit gets started is because the Legion comes to us at the department level and says, guess what? We have a post now in Citrus Springs and we want an auxiliary. Period. That's it. It's facts. So why aren't we finding a way to deal with them? Why aren't we?
I think we do all the time.
As we should. May I, Bob?
However,
May I? I love my husband.
no.
But I'm not gonna lie to you, after 30 years, I wanna go, oh my God! In my home, not my Legion. In my home. What's the difference? Because I'm sure there's times in 30 years that he went, ooh, Jane. But after 30 years, we're still there. Still there. It should be no difference. None. It's a marriage. We're marrying each other, Legion Auxiliary, so to speak, incorporating our sons. Find a way to make it work. Find a way to make it work. Keep us honest. Time. Go ahead, baby. She has a question.
I just have a quick question. Lou Isley with Inverness Unit 77. But my question is, so when we're giving to our post home, which we do a lot, and we feel that we want to give towards, I'm going to use an example, we needed a generator. If we give $500 and we, in our minds, we're saying it goes to the generator, and we don't stipulate that, they can spend it on anything they want, correct? But if we earmark it for their generator that they're trying to pay for, then they're supposed to use it for the generator. And vice versa, because of, same thing as boys state, girls state, so how does that work?
I'm not a Legionnaire. I can write a check to the Legion all day long and in the mail and tell them what it's for. It's the Legion. That's their business.
Can a Legionnaire address that today? How does that
There's
work?
no need. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. There is no need. There's no need.
Okay, so.
You give your Legion or you don't give your Legion. Do you follow me? We are not going to ask, inquire, dictate what the Legion, that's their problem.
It's not a
If they don't do the right thing, that's up to them. How are we gonna know anyway? How are we going to know anyway unless there's pillow talk or something else? You follow me? We've got to stop this. I give you a gift, okay? Am I allowed to dictate what you do with that gift? No. I can't be an Indian giver. I gave a gift. I did the right thing. It's none of my concern nor my business what you do with it. You can re-gift it. You can give it to your friend. Do you see where I'm going with this? We gotta stop this.
Unless we raised it specifically.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter that way either.
It's in your minutes that you raised it for the Legion generator. It's in your treasurer's report here's what it was. The check was written for this.
What they
You're
did.
done.
Okay.
You're done.
So we did our due.
The IRS.
That's correct.
Thank you.
We did our due
You did
diligence.
it.
Yeah, and don't waste your wonderful, passionate energy worrying about what they did with it. Don't do it. Does that make sense? Don't do it. It's pulling us down. It's pulling the unit down.
So that makes
Doesn't
sense.
matter what they do with it.
Cooperation is the key. We've got to cooperate.
They needed it, you gave it.
Okay.
And you have the proof, and you have, not proof, you have the record to show to your members. We voted on it, here's what we took in, here's what the check was for. Done! The unit has done what they said they were gonna do, period. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
I would think that there'd be a reasonable assumption that if the Legion had documentation and paperwork that said, come to our event this Saturday to raise money for the generator, and you gave them the check there as your part of your effort, there's a reasonable assumption that yes, they would use it. But it's not up to us to confirm, check their balances, look at those things, correct? Because
That's right.
it's them earmarking their own fundraising funds. Us, as we earmark it, we can't tell them, you can't tell your neighbor, hey, earmark your, budget for your new lawnmower, your lawn's a little long, right? You can't tell your neighbor to do that. You can just say, hey, here's $50, would we need each other?
And I get where you're coming from, but after this many years of teaching classes, I've got to make the separation of church and state, so to speak. Have to. We have enough to worry about. We have enough to worry about in our auxiliary, trust me. And every unit in the state of Florida, we have enough to worry about our own self. Let's not worry about, you follow me? I get why you asked the question, but that's why I said it the way I said it. Doesn't matter.
But this is a great time that I like what you're doing. It's showing us, because when you're new to this,
Right.
we're learning what we are responsible for,
Thank
but
you.
how do you fall under
Right.
the umbrella, I call it.
Yeah, and that's why we started the class going, anything we say here is going to be auxiliary. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
I'm in Unit 58. Now, whenever we write a check for pollution, should we be getting some type of receipt for our own auditing purposes?
I never have, because your receipt is the minutes,
I just
the
wanna make
memo,
sure.
to make sure your treasurer on any check is writing in that memo.
Yes, okay.
Anything, that's your record. That's your record. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now, outside, I would encourage
Oh,
receipts and
absolutely.
stuff, but because we're family, we're getting
I'm
this
just trying to
respect of our family. Same thing with the riders, they may come to us, they have a ride in, and they want $200, or the Suns is doing a golf tournament, and they're asking, as long as it's written in your minutes, that's why those minutes have to have every expenditure in there.
Now, in turn, anytime your Legion does a good thing, okay, so the Legion gives her a receipt. Okay, but we cannot dictate. We are together, but we are separate. We're separate. And then it stops you from spinning your wheels, if that makes sense. You're so consumed with what the Legion, how do I know? What if they were waiting because they needed to add new conduit underneath the generator that would automatically hook to, you follow me? That your $500 is going towards a $5,000 project. So what, we're gonna say, okay, tell us when you spent it? No, it could be, we don't know, it's not our concern. Okay?
Can I ask a membership question?
Sure.
Why is it that auxiliary membership application has to have a Legionnaire signature on it?
Yeah.
Authorization. And what
Okay.
is that reasoning, man?
Okay. There's only one time it doesn't. Anybody know the one time that an application does not have to be signed by a post officer.
Female veteran.
Can you say that louder?
Female veteran.
A female veteran can join the auxiliary on her own right, on her service, and it does not have to be signed by a post officer. Hey, now, the reasons it's signed by a post officer, one, Legion dictates our membership. Legion dictates our membership eligibility. Make sense? They go to Congress. We don't go to Congress. They go to Congress. They petition the Legion, the Sons, the auxiliary, membership eligibility. Then Congress says yes or no whether you can do it. Okay? So they are over our membership when it comes to eligibility. Wouldn't it make sense? Yeah, they have to sign off. Because don't forget, let's say innocently, this is all innocent. She's new membership. She doesn't know that. She thinks that Jane can come in and go, yeah, I'm eligible. My dad was a World War II vet. Okay, here you go, sign up, we got members. What happens if IRS comes in and audit? Anything. The Post needs to know. They don't need to know our roster. They don't need our members' addresses and phone numbers. That's proprietary. They don't need that. They need to know what's happening in their home. Does that make sense? So post officer signs.
Is there a reason that fathers whose children, who cannot join in any other way, shape, or form, are not allowed, if their children are military, cannot join our auxiliary?
That's the American Legion. That's the American Legion.
They
I'll
just
say it
haven't-
again. The Legion determines our eligibility.
They
They have to go to Congress.
and fight. for
If
that.
Congress doesn't allow it,
So they would be the ones to petition Congress, and they'll have to go through that.
So
Yes.
when we had that change to spouses, which is the only male that we allow in
Right.
the auxiliary, they had already basically gone to Congress and got that approval by the time we got to national convention that year.
Oh,
There
okay.
was really nothing that we could do because we are under the Legion. And so they said, here auxiliary, we are now including our spouses. And that's basically how that happened to open up eligibility. We gotta be careful, the Legion doesn't want to have the auxiliary be a little bit more bigger than them. They are the Legion parent. So within that, they didn't go to Congress and ask for the fathers. Is that ever gonna change? We don't know, but there again,
Okay.
that's on the
That
Legion.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Because I've had some men say, well, that's not fair, my wife can join and I can't.
But what we can do
Thank
is
you.
make them an auxiliary advocate. And that is just as important as becoming a member. Do they have voting rights? No. However, can they help in our kitchen? Can they attend our functions? Can they even attend a meeting as a guest? Yes, they can. So what we're called is auxiliary advocates. We want them, we don't want them going out to another organization, we need them. We need their help in lifting our things for our events. So make them, there's a template on the national website, auxiliary advocate, invite them into the meeting and present them with certificate and appreciation for what they've done.
Don't forget, the Legion has rules too. Legion is a guy. Congress, think about what I just told you. Congress tells Legion, here's your eligibility rules. Yep. Okay? Anything else you can think of on the unit level? Perfect. How close are we, Pam?
15 minutes.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Would an auxiliary advocate be considered a member if you want to go in a canteen?
That's Legion. We're not in charge of guests. We're not in charge of,
When an
attendance.
auxiliary member.
I know letting them in the door, but we don't do that. We don't even do that. Right. That's up to the Legion. Every Legion is different on post rules. Sign in, don't sign in, none of our, yep.
And about part of their house rules. Now, one question on a unit level, and going back to what Jane said, is we tie them together. So keeping them separate, keeping a chairmanship separate from especially first vice, is an awesome idea, and I highly recommend, and thankfully, you guys don't really have that issue, but you got yours.
I think we do, but it might be in different Legion families.
We did this about, oh God, I don't even know now, maybe 8 years ago, we started teaching an A.B.C class to separate, because she made a good point. I'm gonna be president. I'm a good leader. I mean, membership, sure, I'll renew and recruit, but I don't wanna sit there and process it. Alan has done it. Janet is opposite. She loves that. She doesn't wanna be president. So why would you make her first place?
So why on a department level do we have second and third vice have a chairmanship that's always associated with them? Is that just a
Okay,
historic thing?
good question. Years ago, as you were moving up in department, we mirrored national auxiliary, okay? Meaning you were historian, chaplain, you could become department president, national did the same thing. Well, once again, they found out they're pigeonholing. I don't wanna say prayers. Not that I don't pray. I don't wanna get on stage and be the national chaplain. So I can never be a national president and be a leader? Or I don't wanna be a historian, but I can't be the leader of an organization at any level if I have to be this, follow me? So national took it out, and then they assigned, because of our pillars, they assigned BA&R and children and youth to those positions of second and third vice. So Department of Florida said, oh, let's do that. Let's mirror them, okay? Two things happen. Any department can choose not to. We just did, my personal opinion, I think it was great, because I can speak from experience, and she's on her journey, but she can speak to 2 years of it. I was third vice president of the state of Florida, and I realized, oh, Vicki Coons is my chairman at National, how nice. Then you guys duly elected me as second vice president of the state of Florida, and I went, oh look, Vicki is VA&R, Veteran Affairs and Rehabilitation. Wow, cool, I knew her from last year. First vice president, same thing, national president, department president. So my year, I had already known Vicki, they're going on my 4th year. So it was a nice transition for Florida because the rapport was already there. Lisa's doing the same thing. Last year, she was third vice, her children and youth chairman is the same as it is this year as second vice. Make sense? Do you need time to set up? Okay, want to take a potty break? Yeah. Potty, another break? No, let's take a break, and then the unit will be able to set up lunch, everything. You're good. Okay? The emblem is our emblem. It's never going to change until the Legion decides they want it changed on down. We get all that process, okay? American Legion National came up with a wonderful, my opinion, wonderful, wonderful marketing tool for us. And it's called the American Legion Family. Every facet has one. Logo. This is the logo. The reason I think it's wonderful, I still love I have my membership pin, I wear my past department president badge, it has the emblem, I love my emblem. However, I love the logo. Because if you haven't heard this in public, are you at the sheriff's office? Who are you with? You with the Rotary? No, I'm with the American Legion Auxiliary. And you're thinking they see it, don't they? They have no idea because it didn't really say it, did it? It's the emblem. Here, you're out working a community event. American Legion Auxiliary, they can read. Then don't forget, the demographic that the Legion family is looking for are the younger ones. Who, here we go with the hands. What family doesn't want younger members to continue on when we can no longer continue? Once again, no hands. Thank you. Okay? So that's the difference between the emblem and the logo.
I want to address this since you're talking about those. You have to get pre-approval, but we had this created, but it had to be approved
we're going there next, okay? Now, what you can do with the emblem and the logo, you can use it for correspondence, you can use it for advertisement, okay? Anything else, it has to get approved. If it isn't business related, and no, shirts are not business related, shirts are fundraising, because you're not giving them for free, okay? Otherwise, the name, yes, the American Legion Auxiliary name, and or logo and emblem has to be approved if you are putting it on anything that isn't correspondence, okay? It is not a simple process, but it's not difficult. Keep in mind, you should already have your vendor, the vendor name, because they're gonna ask, who is this vendor? How many do you want? Okay, well, then I'd be here, well, Jane, we don't know how many we're gonna sell. So let's say if you expect to sell 70, why don't you get 200 or 300 approved? Well, what does that mean, Jane? That means if you sell the 70 and people are going, I love that shirt, can we do 100 more? You already had it approved for 300, 500. You follow me? It's already been approved. You cannot change it. You can't go back, well, now we want the sun. No, you were approved for the 300 at what that looks like. Then you can only go up to 300. Does it make sense? Okay, there's a form on the website, alafl.org, for you to fill it out. It goes to the department secretary at the state level. Then she forwards it up to the national emblem, okay? Then it goes to the American Legion. But Jane, it's auxiliary. Once again, the American Legion. We didn't start them, they started us. And as they should have every approval on that logo, that name, that emblem that's going out in the public. Do we want the, friendliest pub crawl in Dunnellon with the American Legion name or the family name? No. No. Nothing against the pub crawl. That's not the avenue that we should be going. Okay? If you just want a standard advertisement, great. Get it approved, then you have it. Make sense? Because they did studies. I'm in HR, and that's one of the things when I found out, I reached out to the Legion and they told me. They hired a marketing team, they did studies, that the younger generation, what are they doing? Boom, 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 boom. Information comes fast to them, everything is technology fast, we're doing it quicker, more efficient, blah, blah, blah. What do? They read American Legion Auxiliary, Sons of the American Legion, way better than going, excuse me, can you tell me who you're with? They don't have time for that. Right or wrong, good, bad, indifferent, they're a different generation. We don't do the same exact things that our parents did. Our children certainly don't do what we did. That doesn't change your foundation, your morals, your beliefs. They don't do it the same way. Each generation has their own way of doing things, and that's theirs. And it's proven effective. I looked around the room, and this is the first class that I have had a hard time finding the emblem. Not that that's a bad thing. Everyone is wearing the new logo. They like it. You can read it. You can see it. Okay? Now that you're pointing to badges, we'll just go badges real quick. Blue is unit level. Blue is unit level. Okay, so when you order it, if it's unit, it's solid blue. Two-tone, do you have yours on today?
No, it's in the car.
Okay. Two-tone, blue and white, would be district. So if you're district president, district chaplain, district Americanism, you would have the blue and white. See the difference? Okay? White would be department level. I'm past department president. You have yours? Okay? She is department second vice president on the department level, so it's white. Okay? Then red would be national.
I don't hold that.
Okay. I know, but I forgot who I got it from. Got it. I go into a room and what did I need? And I'm standing in front of it, but forgot what I needed. Okay? So that's a little about the logos, the emblems, approval, okay? Pick the next thing, just check it off. Oh, here's our cheat sheet. We're trying to give you as much information as we can.
Okay, so a little bit on protocol, and if you have a problem or maybe you have a question came to you and you don't know the answer, who do you go to at the unit level? Who would you refer that question? You're the chairman at the unit.
I didn't hear that. Who you
You're the chairman at the unit. You have a question. Natalie is the Americanism unit chairman. I ask her a question, possibly about the flag. Natalie doesn't know the answer. Who is she going to go to? The unit president. What if the unit president does not know?
Department or district?
District
Chairman.
chairman. Yeah. So follow up from unit to district to department. And that's also within any problems that we have. We want to try to have the issue resolved within our own unit before we bring in the district president. Sometimes we find that it's a simple thing that Janet went out and got food tablecloths, and you knew this was on the baby, and so it should have been purple. What were you thinking? I'm just trying to talk to you. Sometimes it's that simple, right? I mean, sometimes we're women, and little petty things sometimes set us off. Instead, go to Janet and try to, you know what? Not very fine. I told us, it's purple, but I appreciate what you've done. Let's move forward. Okay, let's not get stuck on the same issue. If we can't resolve the same issue or problem, we bring in our unit president. So cooperation in the unit, and the same thing within our legal family. It's probably going to resolve some of the basic issues that we have.
So I can't tattletale?
And not at the bar. So, I don't like what happened in the meeting. Disunity will divide a unit quicker than you walk out the door. Okay? Parking lot meetings shouldn't happen. What happens in our meeting, even if you don't agree with the outcome of the vote, should not be taken to the bar, canteen area, or a parking lot, or I'm going to meet tomorrow, we're going to go on Saturday, let's go talk about what's happening, I can't believe it. Okay? Support and unity within your unit is vital. That's going to bring your members strength, and also incoming members are going to see that. If they come to a meeting where everybody's fighting, they're going to come back? No. Same thing in the district. Don't like something? Sorry, the motion was what it was. To support the members of your own family.
I'm going to expand on that only because I have a history here at this unit. I've been blessed. I've been a member since 2003. I have been coming to this post since 2003. When I became a certified A.B.C instructor, I was certified here. And I have seen this post do our cycle. Not in a bad way. World War II vets started it. What happens? They pass away. If you don't have the next generation, you're struggling. And one year, my last time here was about 5 years ago. It was before I was department president, taught a class, and I told them, I have traveled around this state, and I'm telling you now, I am hearing from auxiliary members that told me, hey, Jane, guess what? I'm retiring. We bought a house in Dunnellon. And I told that unit then, hang in there, hang in there. because they're coming. There's another subdivision coming up. My husband and I just passed it. So we will get the younger members in, okay? But the prime, and we'll talk about how to do that. The prime example that I wanted to go was, it concerns me when I hear in a meeting at any unit, well, we tried that and it didn't work. Okay, my first question is, when? We'll use Dunnellon as an example. It didn't happen here. Oh, they tried that a long time ago and it didn't work. Okay, when? 1965? I mean, really? Really? When? When? The person doing it. The time. The community. Because we need to stop getting hurt. It could have been something I did 10 years ago and it didn't work. Pam comes up with the same idea, she does it, and it works. Why would I get offended? It's not about me. We have to put our egos aside. It's the person, it's the situation, it's the demographics. So let's talk about how do we get those younger members. If this host home folded today, would the community miss us? If the answer is no, we're not out in the community enough. And I'm not advocating anything difficult. Do you have local festivals? Christmas parades? That's an easy one. And it isn't just put in a float, but if you don't want to have a float, you don't have a trailer, no one wants to do the float, do they have vendor opportunities? Most of the time, it's your local government. They're going, yes, we'll give you a table for free. Okay, utilize it. Get out there and find out so they know who we are, what we do, and why we matter. Prime example, we just had the Christmas on Main, I told you, and we purchased 5 bikes from the Legion family. They knew who we were, and they knew where our tent and table were. Because they announced every single bike. They gave away 150 bikes in a little town in the middle of nowhere in Levy County, Florida. And they knew where the American Legion table was. I made up signs for every bike. It wasn't about me, it was that they knew. Because we said we will not only donate, we're going to be there. And we were there. So people have to see that we're visible. We're part of the community. We live here. Otherwise, they're thinking that we're an average Legion and all they do is sit around and tell war stories and they smoke or they whatever. We have to reach them. Okay? Because don't forget, our younger veterans, they're not active duty. What are they doing? They're raising kids. They're working jobs. They're raising kids. They're going to soccer practice, ballet practice, and singing lessons. Oh, okay? They're going crazy like we were when we were younger with kids. So they're busy. So let's maximize where we can get them. They don't have to come to meetings, but if we disseminate the information to them and communicate, they're going to get that email as an auxiliary member and go, no, we can't come because Johnny's got soccer, but we can donate this for the basket, or we can donate. That's their way of giving what they can give when they can get it, and we're not going to turn them down. Another one is younger vets. I've been asked for the last 10 years, how do we get the younger vets in here? Okay? Do an event that they want to do. During, 5 years ago, it was the cycling. They still do the veterans cycling. Okay? Host breakfast. Serve them what they want to eat. They're not eating biscuits and gravy. You know, they're not eating what we would eat for breakfast. What do you want? We'll cook you. You want to come afterwards and have food afterwards? What do you want? Give us a menu. We'll cater it. We'll make it. Whatever. But do what they want. See if you can sponsor said bike ride. Folks, did you have a hand up or no? Okay. So see if you could be a sponsor of that bike event. But we have to do what they want to do. Okay? Because what we're doing is trying to maximize on all our members. Not all members ride motorcycles and are Legion riders. Some aren't. Not all members ride bicycles in events like that. Not all members have kids that are inside. We have to maximize on what our members are doing. So that's how we can get in the community. But we have to. Because a lot of the times they don't know who we are.
The papers, the community paper, your community paper in your area. That's a great time to
we did read, you guys raised your hands on auxiliary Facebook pages, right? See if you can get with your Legion, see if they would want to do a community page. There's a post in my district now that has a community events page for the Legion family, to let the community know. The community cannot post. Our members cannot post, because you know what's gonna happen. Well, I didn't come, because Eileen made me mad, because she didn't use my cake 5 years ago. You know what's gonna happen. So this way, the only one is designated by the Legion. Sometimes it's the Legion, they authorize one each from entity, but those people are responsible to put the events up there so the community knows. Then all you have to do is create a QR code. Trust me, it works. You can have that on your table anywhere. And what do? They go up with their camera, boom. Okay, I'm joined. Because then it will notify them that you're doing the Christmas bikes or the Halloween thing. The Easter egg hunt. All those big community events where you can say thank you to the community to do them anyway. You just need participation, right? Do a community events page. See if a member is interested in becoming a member of the Chamber of Commerce. But it takes us talking and saying, Pam, my name is Jane Hardacre, nice to meet you. What's your history? What have you done? How long have you lived here? It takes us time to understand our members.
And if you're having an event, create a Facebook event for that, just that one event, and then send it out to your community. That way you're out to come in and see what the organization is about.
Perfect. We good? Okay. What's next?
Just a few questions. It's coming to be that time where we already kind of talked about nominations, nominating committee, elections. We're going to start looking into that, also with reporting. But right now, just want to talk a little bit about the nominating committee. So can the president serve on the nominating committee? No. That's correct. No, the president cannot serve on this committee. The president is always impartial. Now, if you serve on the nominating committee, can you be elected or nominated for an office? Very good. Your standing rules should detail the nominating process, which should be included in your standing rules. Standing rules should state the purpose, when the committee is elected, when they report to the unit. So is it 1, 2, or 3 months of a specific month? What does your standing rules say? Are they even written in there? When they are discharged, how many members and they will be willing to serve on as an office? How long must you be a member before you run for any office?
Doesn't matter.
Member in good standing. Any member in good standing can run for any office. I come through the door, everything's approved, I'm now a member, I can run that same day.
She came in and went to the bathroom, the next thing she knows, she's elected.
Try that. The word time.
Now,
That's how you got elected.
Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
when you're in that cycle, that is what's needed, great. But we should know our members that, you know, Lisa's really good at this. Let's see if she'll do treasurer first. Okay? Because I love that Mary's been doing the treasurer for the last 20 years. Not only that, even if she wants it, and, you know, oh, but that, if you took it away from Mary, she would just shrivel up and die. Okay, what happens if she shrivels up and dies? Right. You have no one. You have no one. And Mary shouldn't hang on to it. Mary shouldn't hang on to it. We have to be able to pass the reins. We have to be a bigger person and go, Pammy, if you need anything, let me know, and I will give it to you. I'm here for you. And then if Pammy is doing the right thing, she will ask questions when she doesn't. She'll utilize that knowledge. Utilize it. I did.
Mentorship, we talk about it all the time. torch on.
We have to, or we won't survive.
Just a comment. So the role of the nominating committee is not just to ask the current officers.
My friends, so we can go play bingo and cancel the meeting?
Yes. Their role is to reach out, pick up the phone, say, hey, I know you can't come to a meeting, but we're having elections. We need blah, blah, blah. Any interest? We've got to reach out to people that don't always come to the meetings or posts because they don't know you're in need.
Talk to other members. Because they may be friends, somebody you don't even know. And it'd be great to make sure that you're brought in. Dr. Arms is a great place to start. Secretary, great starting points to become part of the unit.
Plus Janet can, let's say Lisa's, she's progressing up the chairs and she's, God willing, if elected, be our next unit president. She can tell her, no, Jane really said, no, she didn't want to be an officer, but she has all those grandbabies. She would be excellent for Children and Youth Chairman. We can help her. We can mentor. She's passing on more information than just what's written on that piece of paper. Does that make sense? Because we don't want to push anybody. You know what's going to happen. They don't want to do it. They're not going to do it. Yep. So it just gives us another avenue. Yes, ma'am.
On the nominating committee, they don't just say, we nominate. They have to have, is it a written approval or in a meeting, that person, okay, that they've accepted the nomination
In the meeting, yes, they have to accept the nomination.
verbally in a meeting? Can it be an email? Does it have to be in a meeting, or can it be an email sent to an officer that says, I accept nomination? Is there protocol to that?
You can have a written letter at the meeting if there's an emergency. But I would say.
Because this is the person missing. Let's say
Let's say
you.
they're sick the night.
If they're in the
that trying to
hospital
get
and they can't get to the meeting.
Right, but did you nominate them in February,
Right.
March, April? You see what I mean? They have time. So did they miss all 3 meetings? If they did, why? If they're in the hospital, all that, isn't the right. I'm not saying they wouldn't be good, but why are they, right?
But it does have to be some sort of a,
There has to be a verbal consent.
Yeah.
Or a written consent.
Typically, they come to that
on
meeting in the first nomination and they verbally accept it. Yeah.
you can't just, I nominate so-and-so, they're not here tonight.
Correct,
Really,
yeah. Can't do that, no.
Nominate my friends. We can go play bingo.
Any more questions on nomination?
I'm telling you, the most information, I'm telling you, I knew nothing coming into this and I just kept looking. Books, guidebooks.
Yes.
I kept looking. Thank goodness, my generation, I'm not retired yet, I'm getting there. Computers. I was not scared of computers, so as soon as I find out that there's information online, including all the way up to National Auxiliary, I'm there. I read everything, I look at everything, I want to learn stuff. That's how I became knowledgeable about an organization. Do I know everything? No. Am I going to forget things? Of course. Did things change? I have to stay active. I have to update it, okay? Forgot my train. It happens when you get older.
Unit guides.
Oh, the guidebooks, okay? Did you know there was a treasurer's guidebook online for Department of Florida? I printed out everything this year as unit president, everything, gave it to them, sent it, the attachment in an email if they wanted to send it. Whether they use it or not is up to them, but I've got to give them the information, including, Michelle wanted to be Girl State Chairman, you got it, Dave. I'm gonna send her the program action plan, which details, you learned about that in School of Instruction, details what it's about, what we need to do, when we need to do it. I'm still gonna give it to her. What Michelle does with it is up to Michelle. But if we don't keep giving our members information, or you hear, well, I didn't really look at it or read it because I'm not the Girl State Chairman. Please read it. What happens if Michelle says now, okay, I'm tired, I've done Girl State a couple years, I want to try something different. We have no one that you know, because we thought it was only for that chairman. No, that's why it's online. Anyone can see it. Ma'am?
That's like having a business session.
Thank you. We have to. And it works. Sure, there's gonna be bumps in the road. We have the bumps with our family. It is what it is, but we've gotta continue on.
All right, so after nominations comes elections. Right? And, my train of thought just went.
Elections, president gets to vote, we already talked about that.
This is right. Every member has 4 inalienable rights as a member. What are they? Who can name the 4 rights as a member before we get into the election? Yes, 4 rights as a member. We have 4 rights as a member. They are to vote, make a motion, debate, and run for office.
Would you repeat that, please?
They are to vote, make a motion, debate, and run for office. That's their 4 rights as a member.
And what was the last one?
Run for office.
Oh, lunch.
So, on election.
We thought you were saying debate.
Oh,
Oh, debate. Well, you can debate too. We're auxiliary. We won't turn down a baker, but.
can elections be by voice, or do they have to be by ballot? Correct. I mean, if you know that it's gonna be a contentious debate or election, go ahead and make up those ballots. I would have them prepared anyway. It's always good to have on hand.
And don't forget to look at your standing rules. I'm a new member, I've been here 2 years, I didn't know that it's in our standing rules that we have to vote a ballot vote. If it's already in there, we have to. So look at your, if it isn't, you don't have anything in there and you guys wanna do it by ballot,
What month do we hold our elections in?
you know.
April?
No, not really. I just have to remember because it's changed so many times in my thing. I'm gonna give it a stab. Go ahead, does anybody know? Okay. No earlier than 90 days before department convention. No later than 15 days before department convention, right? It used to be different. The Legion changed and we followed at the Department of Florida. Okay, and the reason was, we're in Florida, we have snowbirds. We have snowbirds. Okay? And your membership, when it comes to the department convention, on the number of delegates that can go to convention, anyone can go. You can be a delegate, alternate, or a guest. But your number of voting delegates, delegate is the only one that gets to vote in each facet, is based on membership. So you have to have elections and everything in order, all your paperwork, you have to have any quotas paid, you know, if you go to department convention, the unit has to be caught up to date in everything. And so they made it no earlier than 90 days before department convention and no later than 15 days.
Now, I want to add in there, if it's in your standing rules, then that's the one you're going to be.
If it falls in that
It
requirement.
should fall within the requirement. If it doesn't, then I would highly suggest that you revise your standing rules.
So what would that window be, month-wise?
It depends on department convention. This year is June, end of June or third week in June? Oh, it's earlier this year, okay. So it's June 11th. So count back 90 days and you can't do it usually May is okay for people. Because think about it, you can't have it after 15 days before June 11th. Well, May, your meeting in May would be enough, you follow me?
Yeah.
Unless you meet at the end of the month. And I know Constitution and bylaws is very detailed and mind-numbing, but the reason you can't have your election other than that standpoint is because the American Legion Auxiliary Department Constitution and bylaws says so. You can't be in conflict. You cannot be in conflict. So if they say it's 90 and 15 time frame, you have to have your elections in there.
The one question that I get all the time, and it's not in our setting,
Yours at the unit?
yours and my unit.
Okay.
Is when do the new officers take over? So traditionally, every unit I've been in has been July 1. So after convention, we'll have at installation, or would you always say just July 1? Because that's the start of the new fiscal year. So it's kind of like a clean cut. There are some units that take over the night of election. So if your standing rules don't say, it's kind of up in the air. And we always just did fiscal year, right, just July 1. So,
And
but
do
it's
we
not
have
in
to
our
wait?
standing rules.
Do we have to wait for after installation?
No. Installation is a ceremony, formality, right?
Because in reality, let's say 77 Inverness, right? Let's say I'm a member with her and I'm the outgoing president, okay? And our tradition is that we wait until we do a joint post installation and district comes through. We do all the pomp and circumstance because I think it's wonderful personally. But what happens at the end of election night and I take the auxiliary keys and go, here you go, Shannon.
You're
Who is your president right now?
currently.
Yes, you do. You had an election. You had an election. It's Jan. However, if your tradition is that you wait, shame on Jane. She can still go through the tradition, but once you're elected, you're elected. See what I mean? Traditions are wonderful. Keep it up. Keep the tradition because that's what makes us special. Thank goodness I came back to get the keys, or we wouldn't be going home, Bob.
Uber.
Yeah, Uber, yeah, good luck with that. We didn't hit the Powerball. Okay, keep up with the traditions because they're wonderful, but elected is elected. Just so you know, it's just more knowledge for you, but definitely keep up those traditions.
Case in point, traditionally the installation in the keys always ends at the end of September.
Right.
Sometimes beginning of October. Well, if you, new president, always don't take over earlier, they lost normally half a year.
Yeah, did you hear what she said? Depending, typically in a different district, it was later, September. Still doesn't change the fact that Janet's the new president. Janet would have the meeting in July. Janet would have it in August. You follow me? She is the president, but then she isn't, no more than I'm not gonna be rude and be a baby and throw the keys at it and say, I'm done, I lost the election, or whatever the case is. She's not going to then take over the installation. That would be me.
Yes.
So it's working together to pass the reins because we can't have that. We can't have that. We need to work together. Make sense? Okay.
And I would encourage, if you're going out as an elected officer, have a meeting with the incoming officers. There may be things going on that they need to be aware of, but it's also just good practice to kind of make sure that your question, she may have questions coming in, I have the answer. So we kind of pass the baton between us so that it benefits the unit to have a smooth transition.
And definitely if you're switching like secretary treasurer, I want to know that the secretary or treasurer during my regime as unit president turned over to the incoming secretary under her regime. And regime is not a bad word. We've turned it into one, but it's not. It's just the next leadership team that those items have been turned over because ultimately they don't belong to Michelle's not the unit secretary right now under me. They don't belong to Michelle. They belong to the unit. So they need to go back to the unit. Follow me? Reporting. Go to reporting, Bridget. Only because you brought it up.
consecutive years. So usually your DCC, you're gonna elect your business, it's gonna be to elect your district president, and then you're gonna hear from the reports from your district chairman. So be thinking about that. If it's District 4, I think we need to have a district president coming in. And if that doesn't happen at your district constitutional conference, then can anybody tell me what happens after that? Caucus at department convention. Yes, you've been there.
Been there, wearing the t-shirt.
And you're not gonna leave the meeting until somebody's elected.
They lock the doors, there's a guard there.
And then you get a chihuahua biting at your ankle for it. Do it, do it, do it.
And any of those district presidents that were district presidents anywhere should help someone, because otherwise we're running into districts like this one, my own, District 3, there's more, where we can't find people to step up to be district president. We should be helping them, teaching them. Once they take over, going, here's what you're gonna do, and you're gonna go to, you're already going to department convention, you're gonna have a class there when you take over, you're gonna have one at fall conference, boot camp, you're gonna have all these but we are here to help you, and please, and then go, I'll be a chairman. I'll be a chairman for you on the district level to give that district president support, because we're running, they used to, part of it could be volume of active members. But when I joined in 2003, almost every district had them lining up in succession. They were wonderful. They knew that Janet was going to go, then Lisa, then Jane, then Nettie. They had it going. Now anybody can run for any position at any time, so someone could have ran from, but they were waiting their turn and they were doing the right thing and paying attention and learning. We don't have that anymore. And we need district presidents that can do the job. Some can't do it physically anymore. They've already done it. So we need people to step up, and we need people that are interested. And if you see anybody in your unit, because you guys are District 4, if you see anyone in your unit that is the shining star, so to speak, that is interested, wants to learn, wants to go to meetings, keep inviting them, keep training them, keep hooking them up with the right people, because we need district presidents. And one reason it's important, we use it as a question, but I don't think most members know why. One of the questions is, are district presidents on the department executive committee? The answer is yes. I think it's a good thing. Because how else is District 4 represented? It's no different than your local government, all the way up to the national. You need representation. You need someone that lives in your district and your communities to vote for you. Okay? So it's an important key position. Your district needs that representation. So department knows what's going on in the 4th district, the 3rd district, the 15th, the 16th. Not everything, but they know what the members are doing because they're all different. How we can help support that district. One of the things we've talked on the state level for years is District 3 and 4, for example. Can't get anybody to do district president. What are we missing? We teach A.B.C classes. What are we missing? Because that's our role as department people in leadership to find out what's happening.
And then from there, we go to department good level. So there's training that we provide at the department level to the district president. We're working on here.
I would just say, so if I was in a district and I haven't really spoken up, I've done maybe some local unit stuff or minimal unit stuff, but I've never been a unit president. But I have a great mentor as a district president, and they want me to run for district president, but I've never been a unit president. Should that stop me? Is there, right, you can be a district president without having been a unit president first. You
president. She's been unit president, chairman, we love her, she's energetic, whatever the letter says, we unanimously voted her to endorse her. Doesn't mean she automatically gets it. 155 could have an endorsed candidate, 77, the list goes on, okay? However, she can still run for district president, she just can't be endorsed by her unit because she was never a unit president.
I would run off the floor, I could not campaign, but I could run off the floor, and if I'm the only one, because District 4 has a vacuum and needs it, and I have someone previously saying, I'll mentor you, I'll do whatever, you can run off the floor and do it, and have all these resources and guidance from the department and other districts in your own district to help. You're not on your own.
You're moving to
Yeah. TBD, we'll see. It was nice, the drive up here was gorgeous.
So any questions on DCC? I encourage you all to be there.
Unit presidents, you also have to give a report at the DCC, District Constitutional Conference. Doesn't have to be scary, doesn't have to be a 5-page narrative. But you give bullets, you give highlights of what the unit has done. I still go to meetings in my district and I go, oh, wow, I forgot about that fundraiser, that's a new idea that I want to do. And I'm taking notes, taking it back to my unit. If you look around, you'll see other ladies doing the same thing. That's where we learn about a lot of stuff.
Okay, now, I understand where you say, the unit can't endorse if they haven't been a unit president, but does it have to be of that unit? Like, if I wanted to run for B
Change
district,
that.
Yeah.
okay, I wanna,
Last department convention, we changed that to any unit you have had to serve a year at that unit in the state, that you can be.
oh, it has to be in the state, because I know I was
Any unit.
president at one time in South Carolina, and then I've been president here in Florida, but.
Was
We
it
looked that
Florida
up
only?
twice, it's a year.
It's a year in the state of Florida. Yeah.
But it's in the state.
Yes, yes,
Thank you.
in the state.
of Florida.
Yeah.
Which unit endorses your unit, where you were the unit president or your current unit?
Your current
Your-
unit can endorse you as long as you've been a unit president for a year in any. So like for myself, I was unit president at 321 down in 9th district. I moved to the 16th, and if I wanted to run for district president, then my unit 238 Safety Harbor could endorse me because I've done my year.
But you
Even
still
though it was
could
another
run for,
unit.
but you still
Yeah, I
could
would
run
be able
for
to do
district
that,
president or
because I was a president in South Carolina for over a year, but here I was not even, I don't know, what would you say, Dan, 6 months, 7 months before we folded?
Yeah.
So
Right.
you couldn't be endorsed by your.
The members of Florida voted it to be Florida. I just forgot. It just happened. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
You can still
definitely
come up from the floor. I'm a district president, made it all the way to department president. You know, I was not endorsed for district president. It was how it happened. The unit said, please just do one more year at the unit level, please do. Someone else decided to run. Last minute, that night of the election, she won. Great. 2 weeks later, went to the DCC and I was nominated for the floor for district president, became district president, the rest is history. Has nothing to do with capability. Any member in good standing, which means your membership is current, any member in good standing can run for any position at any time.
Before we get off the whole election topic. You guys talked about what happens if you hold the election, everyone is voted in, we're all hunky-dunky. For whatever reason, an officer resigns. So, do we hold another election?
We only have one election a year, so no, we do not hold another election. What would happen is your president can appoint somebody for that position to carry out the rest of the term. But no, only one election per year.
And the membership doesn't have to vote on it, right?
No, look at your most of the time they go, yes, we'll take Lisa, yes, because you need somebody. Yeah, you need somebody. Good point. Jane is our chaplain, and she hasn't been to a meeting since July. We want her gone, we're replacing her. Nope. Nope. I was duly elected. I get it, shame on me. But there may be other circumstances. Doesn't matter, it's a chaplain. Pam, will you say prayer? You know, okay? If it's a key position, like first, second vice, and you really need her because your unit has duties for them, Jane, for the good of the unit. First of all, you should know what's going on with me. Jane, what's happening? Is there something we can help you with? Yes, my husband, I'm a caregiver now, and it's really taking its toll on me, and blah, blah, blah. Then you know what to do. You follow your governing documents, and you ask Jane to resign for the good of the unit, and most times she would. She has been so wrapped up with her veteran husband, running VA appointment, come on, be right. But your first thing should be reaching out to Jane. You should know. Now, if Jane doesn't respond, then you can talk about it in the executive committee. Hey, I want to send her an email asking her to resign for the, okay? Jane still doesn't, nothing you can do. Keep appointment, chaplain, that's not true. There's nothing you can do. Keep asking someone to say prayers, and when it comes to the nominating committee, find a chaplain. Find a chaplain. It's only 1 year. Find a chaplain.
No, so that's for elected positions, right? The chaplain
Yes.
is elected. Now, if someone was appointed, if your secretary was appointed, or your sergeant at arms was appointed, and
That's correct. I'm
Okay.
president, I appointed you, I can unappoint you. That's not a negative thing, but it's a good thing.
and do they need to get any ratification or
No,
anything else?
it's an appointment. Yep, I appointed you, I can unappoint you and appoint Pam. I need somebody for that position. Yep, and it's appointed.
Now, Department Convention, we do ratify our chairmanship. We held at, right after our installation on that Sunday, our incoming department president will hold a meeting and ratification for the department.
For the department.
Yes, department. And so where at the department level do we conduct our main business? Because we have workshop that happens, and then conference, and then convention. So we know the difference between the three. Workshop is where let's start back, boot camp, after you've been appointed, ratified by, the A.B.C. at that time, then your chairman will go to what's called department boot camp. And we work on our program engagement plans. That's the program engagement plans that you find online, www.alafl.org. Every program has one, and then you'll also see what they've done and hear about what they've done at our workshop, when they present their key program and what their maybe initiative is for the year. Maybe working on something, like this year is my Caring Heart Project. So that's when I roll that out. Workshop, you're going to hear about the programs. And take back as in school of instruction, you're going to take that back as a district chairman so that you can present at your school of instruction. So workshop department, you're coming back, presenting the information here within the district. That's workshop. Conference is where we also have some breakout sessions there, more program breakouts, and you may hear more initiatives about what our department project is, but no actual business is handled at fall conference. Our annual meeting, where we elect our resolutions, any changes to constitution bylaws, all come at convention. That's also where we elect our incoming leadership. So those are the difference between the three events that we hold on the department. How many of you been to the department convention?
Good.
Awesome.
Let's tie in reporting real quick, because before we know it, it's gonna be reporting. And you know your district president, Nettie, is going to be wanting information. Okay, reporting is is so important, I cannot tell you. National has made it easy with tracking. They call it the member tracking form, the unit tracking form, the district tracking form, and the national, because we have to push those numbers up to national. Why we do it, first of all, is because National Legion Commander has more pull and say for our veterans because we do it. We can go to, he or she can go to Congress and say, we know the need for our veterans. Why? We're out doing it. Here's the number of hours, how many veterans we've served, the dollar amount, children and youth, all our pillars that you see on that tracking form. Do you guys know what I mean by the tracking form? The number, that is for her ammunition, plain and simple. It's very important, okay? When it comes to department, you're still sending it. Sometimes the chairman, you'll see the little narrative. We don't care about spelling. We want to know what the units have done. So we can put it in a narrative with the numbers to push it up the chain for him or her, the national commander. Does that make sense? Okay. You guys already know the dates. We're not gonna go over the dates. Yeah, it's very important, very important. I'm trying to think of anything else we forgot.
How long, I don't know if you said it, how long do you keep files in the unit?
Oh, for the membership?
No, for anything.
Forever. I'd go digital if I were you, did you hear? How long do you keep record? Minutes. Treasurer's report. I would scan them. I keep a record. IRS will say one thing when it comes to, you know, it's the same. I keep it forever. Put them digital. We hear a lot of units all the time. We walked, you know, they did some renovations. We found the storage room in the post and all these auxiliary, scan them. Everything's digital now. Keep it digital. Exactly.
Yes, definitely.
And put the year
We can
in.
be audited at any point. So yes, we do keep our membership applications, the eligibility.
For the life of the member.
Life of the member.
For the life of the member.
And remember, we are American Legion Auxiliary, so sometimes the rules are different than what the American Legion has. But the American Legion Auxiliary says that we keep it for the life of the member.
So when the member dies, you can throw away from
Yes, if it's already digital, then you wouldn't worry about it, because
Yeah.
it's, yeah. Yeah.
From a security standpoint, they shred personal information, but yeah, throw it away.
If that's true.
Sorry. That's my-
No, you're true. You're true. There's the generational gap. Shred, she said shred rather than throw away.
Burn it,
What
burn it, shred
about
it.
if somebody doesn't pay the dues for a while and is no longer a member after 3 or 4 years?
But they may. My recommendation is keep it. Did you hear her ask? She said, what if the member hasn't paid for 3 or 4 years? You never know.
You never know.
You never know. You never know. If it's digital, you don't have to worry about it. Is there anything else that's happening in your units that you want to talk about? Otherwise, we went over a lot.
I have one, we have an honorary member, and I do believe that honorary member is 97, and nobody knows why she ever became, because all of our, for example, you said secretary is supposed to be passed out. Well, it disappeared years back. They never turned it in. It's gone. But that member, we've never met her, but she's honorary. Until she dies, she stays honorary and we keep paying her dues. Is that
I
right?
would. I would.
Because we just don't know, I mean,
No. You're not gonna know everything that happened unless,
Yeah.
you know, what I'm hoping in this digital age, that newer units now in the time frame, because this unit example started way before the new unit that started 2 years ago. There was no internet. There was no digital. There were no thumb drives. There were not, okay. I would hope units going forward would now. Doesn't mean we can't be now. Everything you have, put it on digital. That way there won't be a problem. Because wouldn't it be nice to celebrate her? Right?
Honorary membership comes directly from the unit.
Yes.
I think it was last year or the year before they did that 3-year membership for the Legionnaires. Do you think they'll ever come up with something like that for the auxiliary?
Don't know. It was not brought up at National Convention, which is where they do the business, so we don't know.
Because it was great for the Legionnaires,
Uh-huh.
you know.
Yeah.
It's paid for 3
Who
years.
knows, maybe, I'm guessing, that's my HR brain. Are they testing it out? Hey, it's popular here, then maybe we can, I don't know. I don't know.
Haven't heard anything.
Nope.
The sons don't get to do it yet, though.
Oh,
So,
no.
no.
It's just the Legionnaires.
Just the Legionnaires.
No.
My husband has to be.
I know, but I tend to keep auxiliary, just because.
Yeah.
Yep, you guys can talk that side note, it gets too muddled, I don't want the members to cross over.
There's another type of membership, I mean, the paid up for life.
Yes. Do you know the difference between honorary and paid up for life? Honorary, the unit votes for whatever reason. Lisa, wonderful member, she's been a member for 50 years in Dunnellon, Unit 58, and we just thank her. She's been unit president, she's a mentor, she's been ever chairman, and we vote to pay her membership every year. So it comes due every year, and the unit pays it every year. Paid up for life is what you would choose to never have paid dues again. It's a set amount, you do a puzzle, and yep, and then it's paid. You never pay anything, never again. Honorary is different.
There was a rumor in our unit that we had to dispel that if you were paid up for life, then the unit was losing out because they missed all that stuff. No, it trickles back down. If you read the application of how you become paid up for life, it says how the department gets their dues, how National gets their dues, and how the unit gets their dues from that couple payout. So, don't
And not only that, how can you lose with a member that decided that I'm gonna take that money out of my pocket? How you losing?
That's a great question.
Yeah, how you losing?
Is that for, no matter where you live, you're paid up for life because it's
Yes.
national?
Yes, you can transfer a paid up for life. I decide I'm gonna move to North Carolina. It transfers with me. Honorary cannot. I have to stay here. Yeah, or your
Bestowed
unit,
by the
or
unit.
whatever.
The honorary is bestowed by the unit.
Yeah, see, you cannot transfer.
You can transfer, but then you have to go back to paying dues.
Right.
Well, yeah, but it's no longer an honorary, right? Yep.
So there's a question about how much couple is paid up for life, and there's a chart, and it says what your annual dues are is on one side, and how old you are, what age gaps there are on the other, and depending on what your annual dues are for your unit, and how old you are, they have calculated the perfect amount. And so, I know mine is somewhere, I think it's about $1,700. If I wait 5 more years to the next age bracket, it'll be about $1,400. But I would like to think I got 50 more years. So I got
That is
some time.
found at national extension.
Knock on wood.
ALA veterans.
Anything else? You guys have been great. We threw a lot of information at you. On behalf of Lisa and I, we want to thank, first of all, Herman for coming for recording it. Thank you. Thank you. I want to thank the Legionnaires that sat through all of this.
Sometimes they don't have a choice.
That's right, that's okay. No, they can get up and leave, and they did, they were good. And they didn't chime in or butt in or anything, so that's great. And I want to thank all of you for showing up and the unit for hosting us. Thank you. Drive home safely. I'm telling you, this was a good, what did we very good. Oh, on your sign-up sheet that's in the back, I wrote on the last page, I think it was 14 new members that were in. Yeah, there's Butler